Hey everyone, what's going on? My name's Ryan Goes Pop, and welcome back to Ryan's Horror Movie Reviews. Today's review has been a highly voted one, and this could be like a new review after my review on Slender Man. But today's review has been highly voted. Halloween 4: The Curse of Michael Myers. And now, as the subtitle suggests, this was Michael's return to the big screen. But unfortunately, due to a slasher genre, due to the slasher genre being on heavy decline in the late 80s, but Michael Myers may return after the bad reputation of Season of the Witch, in which it failed, so Michael may return. So originally, Halloween 4 was going to be a ghost story, but it was canceled and scrapped in favor to be about Michael again. Anyways, on to the movie. The movie takes place 10 years after the first two films. Michael's all covered in bandages, and for some reason he's all bulkier and tall. He's all tall and bulky. So the paramedics try to take him to a different asylum. But unknown to the paramedics, Michael woken up after he learned that his sister, Laurie Strode, has died in a terrible car accident. So instead, Michael hunts down his niece, Jamie Lloyd. So away Michael did. So Jamie Lloyd is in fact the daughter of Laurie Strode, but she could be also the sister of John Tate in the H2O timeline and Karen Strode in the 2018 timeline. But let's not get into that. So after Michael woke up from a coma, he dons a blue jumpsuit which is all greasy, and he found a new mask. But unlike his previous mask, this one has a shocked expression and slick back hair. But in one scene, it turned pink and blonde briefly. Yeah, I think this was during like reshoots. But anyways, Michael went on a spree in Haddonfield. This time he hunts down his niece and took down some teens, in which, although Michael Myers nearly caught up with his niece, but he was shot down by a bunch of cops and fell down into a well, presumably dead. Or seems like it, because we all knew in a sequel. But in that sequel, in which we know that Jamie Lloyd stabbed her own mother, well, foster mother, in which it caused Dr. Loomis to be hysterical, like, no, no, no. But Halloween 5 never picked that up. Now, the pros. The pros, the return, Michael Myers is back, but the slasher genre was heavily declined. So the late 80s were just not that good for slashers at that point. Jason, Freddy, Leatherface, and Michael, they were struggling. Hell, even Chucky. I mean, Chucky may have debuted in the same year as this film, but Chucky, he didn't save it. So slashers were heavily declining, so heavy. Because apparently, audiences back in, well, the late 80s to early 90s, well, up until 1996 to be more specific, they prefer other parts in horror, like, well, supernatural, horror comedy, yada yada yada. But slashers, no, they're just declining heavily. So, Michael was thought to be gone in 1995, but that's not the case. Overall, this movie actually kicked off a new trilogy in the Halloween series, that's being the Thorn Cult Trilogy. It goes from this movie to Revenge and Curse. And although it has a very good cast, I mean, they were unable to get, well, Nick Castle or Dick Warlock to return as Myers. Instead, they got a guy named George P. Wilbur. Although, rest in peace, George Wilbur. We'll miss you. And now, outside of that, Michael's mask is somehow different. I mean, it's an okay mask, I'm not going to lie. But overall, we got one scene of a stunt double named Tom Morgan, who was, of course, a stunt double for both Leatherface and Jason. Surprisingly enough, he hasn't done Freddy yet. But still, but still, but still, the performance of Danielle Harris, who played Jamie Lloyd in this movie, but she also got a role in Rob Zombie's Halloween film, so talk about 2 in 1. Now, she's also starring the Wild Thornberrys of Tom Kane, who was, of course, the voice of Loomis in H2O, a different timeline. I mean, to be fair, this also marks the return of Crazy Loomis. Good old Doc Loomis never ceases to stop chasing Myers. Although Michael's story did continue because apparently Season of Witch, which is the third Halloween film and the only one with no involvement from Michael, it was supposed to be like a ghost story, but after the bad reputation of it, boom, they decided to cancel it, the idea of a ghost story, and just sell for Myers instead. Now, Michael, even though he made a late return, slashers were just dying in the late 80s. Overall, that didn't stop him, because this movie would spawn a new era timeline known as the Thorn Cult, and apparently the Thorn Cult was kind of a mix. So this movie was good. The fifth film was mediocre, but the sixth was a stinker. Was a snoozer. Overall, Halloween 4 is kind of a decent movie, and audiences tend to love it. Hell, this movie even got a cameo in Family Guy. Well, in an episode of Family Guy, where Tom Tucker was George P. Wilbur. Again, rest in peace, George P. Wilbur. You were a legend. But still, overall, Halloween 4 can be enjoyed by fans. I mean, if you want to put this in like your Halloween marathon, go ahead. Overall, Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, is a very decent film in the series. At least it brought fans back from Michael Myers, but slashers at the time, they were declining. So yeah, this is actually one of those pre-Scream eras. So those that don't know what pre-Scream is, it's an era before Scream in 1996. Here, I'll break it down. 1988, we have the slasher genre declining. 89 continues. Then throughout 5 years, we have 1990, 91, 96, 92, 93, 94, and 95. And bam, Scream. So this movie's pretty much like close enough to having a revival of slashers, but didn't. Although it's one of these slashers that came out in 1988 along with Child's Play, our introduction to Chucky. Overall, I give Halloween 4 3.5 out of 5. Very decent. Very decent for a return of a slasher favorite, despite the slasher genre declining in the late 80s. So overall, Halloween 4 can be enjoyed at any time. And thus concludes my review on Halloween 4. Until next review, guys, which is obviously going to be on Jeepers Creepers Reborn, I'll see you all next time. Goodbye, guys. Peace.